Welcome. Yes, welcome to a special episode of History of a Haunting. We have some very special guests with us. Before we introduce them, I'm Carrie Hopper.
And I'm Laura Ackerman.
The one and only. Oh no, my thing. What happened?
I know. I'm like, is that our thing?
That's
Our
not
little...
There it is. See, I'm leaving it in. I'm not even going to edit that out. And it happens a lot. They're used to it. Anyway, guys, ladies and gentlemen, please give a big round of applause to our special guests, the Dream Team, 2/3 of the Dream Team of Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence, and the 4 that started Entity Voices Paranormal Investigations, ladies and gentlemen, Tony and Cherie Rathman and Chris Allgood and Audra Keeler.
Hey.
There they are.
Yay!
Yay! That's a good-looking group. That's a good-looking group. Yes.
Maybe Ron and Lourdes.
We are. I think they're on. I think they had another show that they're doing tonight. I think. Yeah. So anyway, welcome, guys. We are super glad to have you here. Now, everybody, we're going to be covering a location that has been suggested to us many, many times. My cousin Missy was, almost as soon as the podcast started, my cousin Missy was like, you got to cover Bisbee. Oh, my God. And one of our Patreons, Libby, she also suggested it. So we're going to be covering haunted Bisbee, Arizona. Not just one, not just two, but 3 locations in this crazy little haunted town in southern Arizona. And it's actually not that far from Tombstone, right, guys?
Correct. 22 miles to be exact.
Yep.
Okay. I have never been there. I have family that was born there, and I've said it forever. I'm a terrible Arizonan. I missed out on a lot. A lot living there. So
Bisbee's a cool little town. It's like real funky and
Awesome little
it
town.
looks so like artsy.
It's like
kinda.
what Jerome used to be before it got all touristy, kind of.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They call it
That's what it
Mayberry on
reminds me
acid.
of. Is like it's real artsy and it has like a lot of live music, a lot of like artists live out there. There's always
cool.
like all kinds of little funky shops and stuff. It's a fun little town.
Oh, that's
Yes,
cool.
It is.
That's really cool.
And the weather is always gorgeous over there.
Yeah, it's still cooler, higher elevation.
Is it higher elevation?
It is a lot cooler. Yeah, it's really close to Fort Huachuca. In Sierra Vista.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, great.
Due east of Fort Huachuca, Sierra Vista, and then Tombstone sits. So Sierra Vista sits here, Bisbee sits here, Tombstone sits here.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right. Well, we're going to have to go and visit Bisbee when I'm there one day, Laura. Stay at the Copper
One
Queen.
of the times, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah.
down for it.
Cool. All right, guys, we are going to be covering today. We're going to talk to you all about the history and the hauntings of the Oliver House. I called it the Oliver Twist House earlier, and Laura corrected me real quick. She's like, it's just Oliver House, Carrie. We're also going to be...
It could be. It's a bit fucking sad, but...
It is, right? It really is. We're also going to be covering the Copper Queen Mine, and then we're also going to be covering the Bisbee City Park. So Laura and I are going to start and tell you all about the history and the hauntings of the Oliver Twist House. And then Tony and Cherie are going to take it away and tell you all about the Copper Queen Mine. By the way, guys, these 4 individuals have investigated down in Bisbee a bunch. So they've got a lot of their own personal experiences that they're going to share with us as well. So, Laura, why don't you tell everybody the sources? And there's a lot. Like, everybody's sources are here.
All right. So, PhoenixGhost.com, LegendsOfAmerica.com, NewYorkTimes.com, ArizonaCentral.com, HauntedHouses.com, HauntedRooms.com, CopperQueen.com, ParanormalLegacy.com, SAH-Archipedia.org, KGun9.com, QueenMineTour.com, IROX.com, BisbeeArizona.gov, 4girlsandaghost.com, and findagrave.com. That is all the comms.
And a ghost.com.
Yeah.
Comms over there.
I know.
Comms.
She's like, here's the next one, and here's the next one, and then I had all mine, and I'm like, I'm never gonna fit all of these sources on here. But we gotta get them out. We gotta say them. So,
Right. Yeah,
All right.
I had a bunch, so I know. Oops.
That's funny. All right. Well, tell us the history of the Oliver house.
The Oliver, not Twist House, is located at 126 All Souls Avenue, perched atop a concrete hill.
Really?
Old
All
Bisbee. I
Souls
know,
Avenue?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's true.
It's got to be haunted then. Like, what else is a building going to do?
Immediately already haunted. Okay. So it's atop a concrete hill in Old Bisbee. The two-story red brick structure currently functions as a bed and breakfast. The Oliver House was conceived as a business office and boarding house for the Calumet and Arizona Mining Company's executives, and later even housed some of the miners.
Okay.
The wife of mining tycoon Henry Oliver, Edith Ann Oliver, oversaw the construction of the building in 1908. Mrs. Oliver had the building made from brick due to the frequency of fires that ran through Bisbee several times
Okay.
back in those days.
Okay.
From its hilltop perch in the mountainside mining town, Oliver House is somewhat secluded, even though it's located in central Old Bisbee. The only way to approach the building is by treading a narrow footbridge, traveling through a gate, and along a short pathway to the front porch. So it's just kind of like a very odd building already to begin with, right?
Right, yeah.
The Oliver House is the location of some reputed 26 deaths, most of which are said to be murders.
Off the footbridge?
Yeah, just right off the footbridge.
Just throwing them right off that footbridge. Okay. Okay.
Many a footbridge accidents. Unfortunately, the actual number of deaths having occurred in this building cannot be completely verified due to the loss of the records due to neglect or the multiple fires. So the most infamous are the unsolved case of Nat Anderson, and there was once a mass shooting that took place in the building as well.
Damn.
Yeah.
I say that like I'm surprised. Yeah. I was like, I say that like I'm surprised, but I already know because my hauntings tell me so.
Yeah. That's in there.
All right. Well, great job, Laura. I love you so much. And your history is always really great. And you always have managed to add in an extra one or two creep factors that already set a place up for paranormal activity.
I'm here for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So hauntings. Like Laura said, you guys, reputed 26 deaths, actual number can't be verified because of the records. And as she mentioned, one of the most mysterious deaths was that of Nathaniel Nat Anderson. So the story goes, and locals say, that Nat Anderson, who was a miner, was staying in what's now known as Room 13 of the Oliver House. He was also having an affair, and the woman he was having an affair with was the wife of somebody whom Nat owed a lot of money. So he went in and found the two of them together, she ran out. And there's variations. So I read, he found him in bed together. She ran out and he shot Nat once in the forehead, and the guy stumbled back. And then when he fell, he shot him again in the back. So have you guys heard other variations of that story?
No, that's pretty much the variation we know.
Okay. So I guess whoever this was, because everybody said, well, I'm not sure if it was him. It sounds like it could be him. But whoever it was that shot him tried to cover his tracks. He caused a commotion while crossing this little footbridge into the house to start. He stole a watch and some cash from another resident living there, with his aim seeming to make like a thief was trying to escape. And apparently the ruse worked. Even though there were multiple witnesses, and it was well known that Nathaniel Anderson owed the guy money and was sleeping with his wife, the murder actually remains unsolved to this day. Yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting, yeah.
A lot of those in Bisbee.
Yeah.
Right. All of these small towns have similar stories, like, you know,
And you're
even
close to the Mexican border right there too. You're not too far.
right, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's about 15 miles, 20 miles.
Yeah.
It's not far at all.
It's not. No. So a woman named Renee Gardner, she wrote a book called Southern Arizona's Most Haunted. And in the book, she tells a local ghost story about Nat Anderson's ghost. She says, quote, "We have a town radio station in Bisbee called KPRP. There's a story of one of our local DJs whose friend bet him $100 to spend the night in Nat's room, room 13. The DJ took the bet thinking he was going to make a quick $100. He didn't believe in ghosts and was the ultimate skeptic. He checked in, unlocked the door to room 13, opened it, and saw a full-bodied apparition standing right in front of him. He got so scared that he immediately shut the door, checked out, and gave his friend the money, stating that he now believed in ghosts."
Wow.
Skeptic to believers.
Right? That's what it takes. So, guests who stay in room 13 often hear phantom footsteps in their room at night. Cold spots are very frequent, and also the feeling of being watched. We have all had that feeling. We all know what that feels like. It's not great. And apparently you can expect this in this room. So apparently jealousy is a common theme at the Oliver house. In 1932, a mass murder that Laura had mentioned occurred in the blue room of the house when a policeman discovered that his wife was having an affair. So another situation like this. After hearing that his wife and her lover were getting freaky, he ran down to the Oliver house to see for himself. Upon finding the two lovers in the blue room laying in bed together, the policeman shot and killed them both. He then went on to kill another 10 people in the house before running to a nearby river and turning the gun on himself. Is that kind of the story that you guys have all heard as well?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yep.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. So guests who stay in this room nope.
They steal?
They steal.
In North Carolina.
I've been in the South.
All the soap.
I steal, y'all.
I steal.
I'm acclimated to the South. There go all of our Southern listeners. Guests who stay in the blue room still feel the dark aura hanging over the room. They might hear phantom footsteps and disembodied voices. Some hear the sounds of gunfire, which I think that's terrifying, and the echoes of somebody crying for help. Staff also often finds the furniture in the blue room is mysteriously shuffled around, even when they know that room has been unoccupied.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did
So-
you miss that?
I don't know.
The blue room. Are you aware of the grandma room?
Uh-uh.
Yeah?
You telling some grandma got caught cheating?
Yeah, yes. It's another
Seniors get freaky, yo.
adultery story.
La, 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 la.
Right?
I don't know where the website 4 Girls and a Ghost come from.
Oh, no.
That's how I know this, Chris.
Okay, so the grandma room is named for the ghost of an elderly woman who often appears sitting in a rocking chair. Apparently, she passed away. She lived there for a time. She passed away in this room. When she appears, they say that the broken cuckoo clock in the room chimes at 2 a.m. Apparently, the woman is said to be calm and a benevolent spirit and hardly causes trouble, except for one time. There's only one account of the woman becoming aggressive. When the Oliver house was bought out by new owners, I believe it was in 1986, they removed the rocking chair and the cuckoo clock, which upset this genteel elderly spirit. The author that I had mentioned earlier, Renee Gardner, tells of a story of a young 3-year-old boy who had an experience with this ghost shortly after the changes had been made to the guest room. She writes, "There was a family staying at the Oliver house with their 3-year-old little boy. His parents tucked him into bed and then went downstairs to socialize with the other guests that were in the house. An hour later, the little boy came running down the stairs hysterically crying. His parents calmed him down and asked him what had happened. He responded, 'The little old lady bopped me on the head.' Thinking that he just had a bad dream, his parents calmed him down, took him back to bed, and to their astonishment the next day, he woke up with a giant black and blue bruise on his forehead."
Wow.
Yeah.
Don't mess with grandma.
Right? Don't mess with that, Grandma. So, Tony and Cherie, have you guys heard of this room? Are you aware of this?
We are. I think we spent 2 or 3 different times there, 2 nights of time.
Yeah. With the new owner of the.
Yeah, I don't even think it's still open today.
Yeah.
The original owners closed it, and I don't believe it's been reopened yet or bought.
It does look. I have a photograph of it, and it does look like it's not really. It doesn't look like it's in business, but it also doesn't look like it's dilapidated here. This is what I got.
Yeah, it's probably not dilapidated because it was kept up. But I think we looked last summer to go back, and it wasn't operational.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think, I'm not positive it's open right now either. There was some lady running it, but I'm not sure. And they had like a breakfast that they served there and stuff. So
it was a husband and wife that ran it.
Was it?
They were really nice.
Yeah. I can't remember their
I
name.
can't remember their names off the top of my head, but really good people. And the 2 of the rooms, I mean, we stayed in Nat's room.
Oh, okay.
And he is not any less promiscuous on the spirit side than he was in real life, because I believe you got pinched, didn't you?
Oh!
Lower part of your body.
My rear end.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
and the woman who was running it warned Cherie right off the bat, said, "You're staying in that room. That is
known."
She warned us about the activity, and then she looked right at Cherie and said, "You're the one I'm most concerned about because he's."
Yeah, she doesn't want me to go downstairs by myself.
Really?
Yeah, and she's like, every time you go downstairs, just make sure you take your husband with you, because it's actually a nice place.
Yeah, it was a great place, and lots of activity. I remember footsteps up and down the hall all night long, the stairs all night long.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cool place.
You can hear footsteps too on the stairs.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
Super crazy. Yeah. Okay. Well, that is really creepy that he would actually pinch you on the rear.
Did.
Yeah.
I don't.
The difference between back then and today too, because today you'd get slapped if you pinched a girl in the butt.
Slapped, lawsuit, jail, all of it.
Spirits are really hard to punch, though.
Right? And that's the other thing too. Like, there's nothing you can do in that situation in retaliation. Just like the parents of that little boy who said that this little old lady hit him in the head and then he had a bruise the next day. How do you get... You can't. It's really, really... It isn't something that I've experienced yet. I know that I will, but I can't imagine, like... You can't punch him. You can't have him thrown out. You can't, So...
Pretty much in law. Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much. So the house has other rooms that are haunted. Most all of them are on the second floor, and most all of them have haunting tales. The stories associated with the other rooms in the house include creepy feelings of being watched, again, doors opening and closing, footsteps, and the sound of running water. There have been a number of reports of people on the second floor, of partings being held on the second floor when the second floor was empty. So they're getting complaints from the floors in the rooms around the second floor, and they're like, nobody's on that floor currently. Some stories also include hearing work being done on pipes that no longer exist. I thought that was really specific and interesting.
That's super weird, yeah.
Right?
Did you guys hear that when you were there?
We did hear, remember that they stuck a bathroom into this like 2-foot by 3-foot closet. I mean, I literally couldn't even sit down.
Oh, I
But that's where they stuck. But
Great
so
visual.
they redid all the plumbing and they changed everything. But I do remember hearing.
Remember the flush? The flush, it's elevated.
Yeah, I do remember that. It was up. It was up. It was
yeah.
hanging from the ceiling.
Exactly.
Oh, the
So
chains.
the pipes have been, right.
Oh.
So the pipes have been redone. But I do remember hearing what sounded like plumbing being done or pipe work being done
Yeah.
one of the nights we were sleeping.
That
Yeah,
is
it's
crazy. That's crazy.
That's really wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love their bathroom.
My kneecaps literally were out the door.
You can't close the door.
I couldn't close the door because my kneecaps were out.
That's funny.
That is the best. Yeah. Tony's very tall. So the image is absolutely fabulous. Tony, thank you. That's so hysterical.
The worst part is, imagine being a spirit that's trapped working on plumbing.
Right. Right?
Good Lord.
That's awful. So on the second floor, doors often open and close with no warning. Some people have seen lights turning off and on of their own volition in their rooms, and guests often complain about hearing parties in the middle of the night. Like I mentioned earlier, when they go to check it out, they find nothing. This handyman, they hear him doing work on leaky pipes and other things, and when they go to investigate the sound, they don't find anybody. There's also the plum room, and guests in this room often feel unusual cold spots, they say, which border on freezing cold temperatures. They also feel a strange presence in the room, as if somebody else is there with them and following them around the room. The shutters, doors, and windows in the plum room open and close on their own. So in 1986, the property was sold to Dennis Schranz, and he turned it into the bed and breakfast. When he was told the place was haunted, Schranz then was a skeptic, and he laughed the comments off. He hasn't been a skeptic since his first night in the Oliver house. Apparently, there's a certain room in the house that he slept in the first night, and he spent the night there alone. He claims to have heard footsteps walking down the hallway, straight into his room and up to his bed, even though the door was locked. So, yeah. It sounds like since 86, he's sold it to another woman who has now, I guess, sold it, if it's not in operation currently. So it's changed hands a couple of times, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Other
Yes.
few, yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, for sure. So I do have no before you go information for the Oliver House, but since it's not currently in operation, if you want to just drive by and take a look at it, it's at All Souls Avenue, Laura. You knew I was going to
Yes, All Souls Avenue.
19 All Souls,
26 All Souls Avenue.
26 All Souls. No, I'm kidding.
It's in Central Bisbee. You can't miss it.
You can't miss it. It's got a big
up on-
sign on it that
yeah.
says, I think, let's see.
Yeah, and it's up on the hill there, so
Is it?
big red brick building. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah.
very easy to find.
Also, you can find the footbridge, and there you have it.
Right.
And then you're there. All right, so that's what we have for the Oliver House. Tony and Cherie, are you guys ready to tell us about the Copper Queen Hotel?
Sure. All right. Here we go.
Blindsided Cherie a little bit by not telling her we were on YouTube.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you sound perfect.
All right. In 1898, the Copper Queen Consolidated Mining Company decided to build their own hotel in the heart of Bisbee, giving dignitaries and investors a place to stay while conducting business. Construction was completed in 1902, the same year that the city of Bisbee was incorporated. It wasn't an easy hotel to build. Part of the mountainside had to be blasted away, and water had to be pumped uphill from Main Street. When it opened, the Copper Queen Hotel was considered the most modern establishment of its kind in the West. Built when Bisbee was thought to be the largest city between St. Louis and San Francisco, the town's premier hotel is not only a testament to the wealth of mining industry in the area, but reflects the predominance of rail travel at the turn of the 20th century. Phelps Dodge Corporation built the El Paso and Southwestern Railroad to haul ore. But the railroad also opened up southern Arizona towns to an influx of visitors from larger urban centers to the east and west.
You're doing so great, honey.
Uh, Because Tony is scrolling the thing. Anyway, to continue, the hotel housed 72 rooms originally with a shared bath of each floor. The hotel was heated through a tunnel connected to the Feldstadge building, and the Palm Room was used as a cold air well during the hot summer months. The hotel was also built with 2 foot thick walls to help keep it cool. The building is 5 stories tall, with the fifth floor only housing the mechanics for the elevator. Today, the hotel offers 48 Victorian style rooms, all with their own private bath in the original hotel and 5 rooms in the courtyard building adjacent to the hotel. Over time, the hotel became even more luxurious as it became less of a stopover and more of destination. The parking lot was demolished and replaced by a swimming pool. Big names like Marlo Brandon, John Wayne, Julia Roberts, Michelle Pfeiffer, First Lady Nancy Reagan, and Harry Houdini have all found comfort in the Copper Queen Hotel. The hotel's rooms are named for its famous guests. In fact, the saloon is where actors John Wayne and Lee Marvin once had disagreement, ending with the Duke throwing Marvin through a window.
Oh my God. Wow. All right.
All right. John Wayne was a regular guest at the Copper King. I'm sorry, Copper Queen.
Copper Canyon.
I'm sorry.
Shut up. Drink. Pour one out for Copper Canyon.
You're still advertising it for us. Thanks, honey.
I am so sorry, Copper Queen. His favorite room is up the main staircase on the second floor. John Wayne room is the most requested by guests. I wonder why. Also, very popular is the Teddy Roosevelt room. Before he became the 26th president, Roosevelt was in Bisbee visiting fellow Rough writer Bucky O'Neill.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Okay, is that Board 9?
Hmm?
Board 9, among others.
Yeah.
The movie brought the town to the attention of the wider world and Hollywood. The hotel remains the only full-service hotel in Bisbee and is the longest continuously operating hotel in the state of Arizona. The
That's very
hotel has
cool.
never closed. In fact, the swing double doors that led into the lobby do not lock, welcoming guests at all hours. Wow.
Very
That's
nice.
really cool. That is really cool.
I love Copper Queen
Yeah.
Hotel.
Yeah, it's a great place. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so
Well, let's
Tony,
talk-
real quick, before you get into
Yes.
the hauntings, everybody, I wrote Tony's script. And in it, I list famous people and say they don't have a room. John Wayne is one of them, so Tony, just skip right over that.
I will skip right over that.
Cherie talked all about John Wayne, and I was like, fuck. In my part, it says he doesn't have a room.
They only have rooms for people, like it's like their special rooms. So there's only like a handful of them. John Wayne, Harry Houdini, Teddy Roosevelt, and some other
Okay.
people that will come up later here. They have, yeah, it's just a handful of them actually have their own named room.
Harry Houdini was a surprise. I'm surprised
Yeah.
that I didn't
Harry
expect that.
Houdini got a fucking round. It
Dude,
seems
he
every
did.
place I go, Harry Houdini has
Been there
half
first?
the places we cover. It's like, oh, there's a Harry Houdini room, or he was there, he performed there, he went there, he got drunk there, like whatever, something happened, he's always around.
Okay, Tony, sorry, go on.
Sorry.
All right. Well, here's a little bit of the hauntings of the Copper Queen. The Copper Queen Hotel is a rustic old place that is considered to be Arizona's longest continuously operated hotel, and it doesn't hide its haunted past. It advertises its haunting, hoping to attract thrill seekers and ghost hunters. They even have a ghost journal where guests can record their paranormal experiences so compelling that were compiled into a book in 2010 titled The Ghosts of the Copper Queen Hotel. While some claim to have a relatively uneventful stay, most guests have some sort of encounter with the supernatural. The owners claim, and a number of guests have also affirmed over the years, experience of mysterious voices, odd sounds and smells, and even levitating objects. Indeed, a front desk agent has empathetically told guests how he heard a female voice one night while riding in the elevator between the third and fourth floors, even though he was the only person in it, and he swore that once he saw a room key floating in the air.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Huh.
Camera malfunctions are common. Battery drains and disappearing items are the tip of the iceberg here at the Copper Queen Hotel. One little girl wrote in the hotel's journal that she lost her stuffed animal. Sorry, I'm going to yawn. Only to have it mysteriously reappear when she left it later. Where she left it later. Another little boy told of hearing someone breathing over his shoulder while he read this journal, though no one was around him at the time.
Creepy!
Creepy. Author Renee Gardner writes in her book, Southern Arizona's Most Haunted, that the Copper Queen Hotel is haunted by over 16 spirits. And apparently, they love mischief. One woman who stayed there with her husband and child said while they left the room, she went to take a shower. While she was in the shower, she heard the bathroom door shaking. After her husband and daughter returned, she swore it wasn't them trying to scare her. Billy. Billy was the son of a hotel worker who would always play in the halls and dining room with the other children. When Billy was about 8 years old, he went for a swim in the San Pedro River. The strong current took Billy downstream. The force of the current proved too much for young Billy, and he drowned as he struggled to get back to shore. His death was one of the biggest tragedies at the Copper Queen Hotel.
Happens to me too.
As he was loved by the hotel staff. Billy's spirit never left. He is often seen playing in the hotel lobby just as he would as if he was alive. Only children can see Billy's spirit, but adults can still hear Billy's laughter every so often, as well as the pitter-patter of his invisible feet. Children have been seen talking to and playing with an invisible child and often attempt to introduce the ghost to confuse parents, convinced that the child has an imaginary friend.
Uh-huh.
Billy is a mischievous ghost, and he often plays tricks on unsuspecting guests. He often steals and hides their personal belongings. Stuffed animals, wallets, and clothing have all gone missing, only to be found in another part of the hotel. He also tends to move furniture around the hotel rooms when nobody is there, leaving guests confused. One guest claims to have had her own key stolen, then saw it mysteriously floating in front of her face while she rode the elevator.
Oh my God.
That's crazy.
Is that crazy? Like I have, yeah, no, levitating objects is definitely something that you don't hear of often.
Some guests claim to have been tapped on the shoulder by an invisible hand, which also can be chalked up to Billy's mischievous ways. Many have heard that a childish laughter. Oh, I'm so sorry. After being the victim of Billy's tricks. He does have a soft side, though, as many claim to hear a boy crying near the sound of running water, as if being reminded of his tragic death in the San Pedro River. Julia Lowell. Many famous people have stayed at the Copper Queen Hotel, including Julia Roberts, John Wayne, and First Lady Nancy Reagan, but none of them have rooms named after them. I think that was the part I was supposed to skip.
Yeah, it's fine. Except John Wayne. Carrie doesn't know what she's doing, as always, guys.
Can I go through the people?
Yeah, you're good.
All right. Julia Lowell does. The most often seen ghost in the Copper Queen is that of Julia Lowell. She is described as an attractive woman in her 30s and often tries to seduce men by whispering in their ear or stroking their feet. Julia was a sex worker back when prostitution was legal in Arizona. She used a room on the 3rd floor to conduct her business. She was especially fond of one of her clients whom she eventually fell in love with. She professed her love to him, but he didn't reciprocate. Overcome with grief, Julia committed suicide in her hotel room. We stayed in her room.
I know.
Ew. I was going to say, did she caress your feet?
She didn't rub my feet at all.
That's crap.
Julia's spirit stayed in the Copper Queen Hotel. She's often seen around the 2nd and 3rd floors, usually the west side of the building. She's known for flirting with male guests, often whispering in their ears or playing with their feet. Guests have also seen her dancing at the base of the staircase.
She didn't flirt with you.
Nope, she ignored me. Sometimes she is seen as bright white smoke. Men who sleep in room 315 are awakened in the middle of the night and treated to an eyeful at the foot of their bed. Julia dances a seductive striptease, smiling as she fades away into the air. Okay, where did it go? Okay. Julia has been seen on the grand staircase, described as looking like a filled out, real looking person with not much on clothing wise, clutching a bottle of booze. The room where she would take her clients is now called the Julia Lowell room. I wonder how they came up with that.
Right? That's so curious.
Yeah. What a coincidence. The bearded man. One ghost in particular remains rather low key, but his presence is still felt by quite a few guests. Okay, good again. No.
It's an actual thing when people talk a lot.
Every time I breathe in to read, I yawn.
Yeah, it's an actual thing when people have to talk a lot.
Breathing, damn it.
Yeah, I'll just quit breathing. The spirit of an unnamed bearded man in black cape and top hat is often seen hanging around the 4th floor. Guests say that he's always smoking a cigar, and his presence is accompanied by the smell of cigarette smoke. His intimidating appearance tends to startle the guests, but he means no harm. He usually appears in shadowy areas around the 4th floor, scaring guests when they catch a glimpse, especially when he suddenly appears inside one of the guest rooms.
No, yeah.
That would probably freak you out a little bit.
A little bit.
Right.
Employees hear their name being called as they go about their jobs and throughout the hotel as well. The heavy steps of the man's heavy boots are heard walking up and down the hallway. Although the Copper Queen Hotel has 3 known ghosts, paranormal experts and investigators say there may be up to 16 different entities in the building. Many of the supernatural experiences may be falsely attributed to Julia and Billy, when in fact other ghosts are to blame. Guests claim that many of their encounters did not fit the description of the 3 known ghosts. Doors shaking and slamming shut, phantom phone calls, and pictures thrown off the walls are not occurrences that can be attributed to any ghost in particular.
Huh.
The Copper Queen is located at 11 Howell Avenue, Bisbee, Arizona. Bisbee is roughly 95 to 100 miles southeast of Tucson on Arizona Route 80, just 20 miles away from Tombstone. For booking info, visit copperqueen.com or call 520-432-2216.
Thanks, brought to you by Bisbee.
Yes.
Good job.
Yay! Great job, guys. Good job, guys.
I have a couple facts about the building.
Oh, good.
So what's really cool is somewhere around, what was it, 1910, 1912, when they were doing work in the mine, they had a major explosion that shook the town.
I had a picture of that at one point.
Yeah, we had a picture of it.
Yeah.
You were there.
If you go as you walk into the Copper Queen Hotel, through the door,
Not that.
not,
Sorry.
not the explosion. Not the
I
explosion.
was like, wow,
I look really good. For
you
my
guys
age.
look amazing.
The fact that we got an iPhone there to take a picture is fantastic.
That is really amazing.
But the explosion was so big in the mine it actually shook the town. And the original penny tiles as you enter the Copper Queen Hotel are on the floor as you walk through those swinging doors.
Okay.
And there was a crack in the floor
caused
by that mine shake from the explosion, and it is still there to this day.
Yeah.
That crack in the penny tiles.
Oh wow.
That's
You know
interesting.
why that mine explosion cracked a couple of floors in the town of Bisbee? Is because there are so many tunnels that run underneath the entire town of Bisbee that the aftershock from it just traveled through the tunnels and shook every building above it.
Oh my! I think I read an article that said it was some insane amount of miles worth of tunnels from the mine are under the town, like 1,000 or something super crazy.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
That open pit mine is huge at the one end
It
of
is
town.
massive.
It's,
Yeah, it is massive.
Yeah.
it's enormous.
So
The other fact I have about it is they say that the 5th floor only contains mechanical rooms.
yeah, for the elevator.
Yeah.
They're lying.
There's a seance room up there.
There's a seance room up there. So
Yep.
we stayed there one time with our boys. It was the second or third time we stayed there.
Yeah.
And Audra stayed in the room, and the boys and I went around. We were doing an investigation. We found this. As you go up onto the 4th floor landing, when you take the
The
stairs,
closet door
the
Yeah.
closet door over in the corner.
with stairs. With stairs.
Tony
There's
doesn't want me
stairs
to-
that go up to that 5th floor.
Yep.
And we went up to that 5th floor, and as I turned the corner, they had this big Halloween statue thing. Scared the
Scared
hell
the
out of me.
crap out of me when I saw that.
Yeah. But you go up there in the little turret room that you see the windows in the picture on the 5th floor.
Yeah. Let's take a look again.
It's a seance room, and they had a table set up. Yeah, where it says Copper
Here.
Queen Hotel at the top.
Okay.
They actually had a table and chairs up there with the Ouija board on the table.
No.
Is up there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Laura, you're gonna have to go both out without me.
go there.
No problem.
They actually locked that door. Nobody's allowed to go there. But fortunately,
We just went. It wasn't locked, so
Yeah.
we went up.
Yeah,
Same.
we found it
Yeah.
unlocked too. Yeah.
You know, speaking about Billy, Cherie and I spent the night, and we weren't actually in Billy's room. We were in a different room, but we were running an SB7, and we got him to talk to us for about 3 minutes.
Really?
Didn't say a lot, but you can hear that the little boy that's replying. We asked him if he wanted candy. He sounds somewhere between 6 and 8, and it's
we
Billy.
actually offer
Wow.
candy and chocolate.
We actually have that recording. It's really
That's
cool.
awesome.
That's very cool. That's very
I
cool.
also have an experience with Billy too. The
Really?
First time we stayed, the first time we stayed
It's a
there,
beautiful hotel.
Audra actually got food poisoning and she was sick.
Hmm.
So about 1:00 in the morning, I'm like, "We came down here to do an investigation. I'm sorry that you're sick." She goes, "No, go do it."
Go do it.
So I did an investigation by myself,
Okay.
and
You ran into another couple though.
yeah, I
right?
ran into another couple from Phoenix, and we went around for a little bit, and then they left, and I continued on by myself. And I had a couple experiences that night, but the Billy one, I went back in to check on Audra, and she wanted a hot cup of tea. And if on the second floor, as you crest the stairs coming up from the check-in desk, there's an open like lounge area,
Yeah.
where they have couches, they had coffee, they had tea.
Yeah.
And I walked out. Our room was right around the corner from the lounge area. I went out to get Audra some tea, and I felt like something was following me. And just kidding, I turned around and I went, "Billy, knock it off!" And I heard him giggle. And then, right after I heard the giggle, he ran right past me and down the other hallway.
Really? Did
So
you
I
feel like the
heard him like that.
breeze? Or did you
Yeah.
just hear the footsteps?
No, I felt the breeze and I heard the footsteps. He
Oh
ran
my
right past
God.
me, right across that social area and down the other hallway.
Wow.
That's cool.
I didn't have anything on me at the time because I wasn't doing an
'Cause it was
investigation.
getting tea.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she feels like crap, and I run back in the room going, "You're not going to believe what just happened."
She's like, neither are you. Go look in the bathroom.
Something like that.
Okay, can you play evidence, Carrie? Because we have one.
You want to hear, Billy?
Yeah.
100%.
Let's.
I can share a screen. The audio will come through.
Can
Okay.
you guys?
Yeah, let's do it.
Do it.
It's about 3 minutes long.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Okay.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. Okay.
Right there.
Why is it not coming up?
Let's see. No.
There we go.
Wait, hang on. What?
We
Why
have
can't
full
I?
Carrie. Hello, Carrie.
Carrie and her.
Hold on. It's not unassigned placeholder. It's nowhere. I moved Tony and Cherie to the green room.
Well, none of us are in there. It's just you.
It's just me. Okay. Hang on.
Thank God you edit.
You know what's funny is I'm going to leave it all in. How do I stop this?
How do I stop this madness?
Seriously. Guess two. Where'd they go? They're in the green room. I think that's what I did. Here we go.
What's your favorite color?
There they are. Woo! Welcome back.
Sort of.
All right. Did you get it?
I hear.
Tony, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We can
Yeah,
hear
but the
you.
screen is all jacked.
I got it all jacked up, yeah. I thought it would just play, and then it didn't.
I can't shut it down. My controls are gone to shut it down.
Oh, no! Oh, now it's just... Hi.
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 Tony is now Carrie Hopper. Cherie is Laura Ackerman.
What is happening? All right, let me put my thing back. Hold on. Oh, now I'm freezing up.
That's our fault.
Okay, now this is silly.
This is what's called a PBDC problem.
And
The problem is between desk and chair.
it is, for sure.
Sorry, Carrie.
No, it's okay. Hold on, I gotta figure. Hold on.
People.
Add left. Okay, now. Okay, all right. Hold on. Maybe I can figure this out.
Wait, here is.
Yeah, I know. I'm just looking at what.
It's
Nope.
not.
Oh.
All right, let's try this again.
Is Laura still with us?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm just chilling. I'm used to this.
Okay, well, wait. There she is.
Now the rest of us are
Maybe
gone.
the split screen. Is there a split screen?
Yeah, is there a screen to split? There you go.
Yeah.
Ta-da!
Hey, we're back.
We're not going to do that again.
Yeah, I won't try that again.
Maybe we could still hear it if you just play it there without trying to share.
Yeah, we can still hear it, I think. I won't click on nothing, I swear.
Well, I can't without the audio coming over. Yeah, I would still have to share the audio, or you'd never hear it.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, we can do that, but it may... I clicked something that I shouldn't have.
Okay.
So I won't click anything if you want to try it again.
All
Hand
right,
off
let me try
mouth.
it one more time.
Cross finger.
All right, here we
Step
go.
away from the mouth. Here.
All
Everybody
right,
shut their
and here it comes.
Hand check.
Hi. How are you? Is that Billy? Do you want some candies?
You. I'll put it over here on the dresser for you, okay? Do you like that, Billy? You can take that candy. It's all yours, okay? Billy, what's your favorite color?
Are you still here with us?
Yeah. Can you just say your name so we know who we're talking to for sure? Billy, is that you? Well, good, Billy. It is very nice to meet you. All right, that gives you an indication. He didn't say much, but
No.
he didn't have to. And then at the end is really his cool part. But he says, "I gotta lie down. I'm not feeling well." Billy, and then this male voice came in and said, "Leave him alone. He's sick."
Whoa.
Whoa. It was crazy. But I didn't hear Billy say, "I'm not feeling well," till we heard the recording. We heard the guy say, "Leave him alone, he's sick." And I'm thinking, what is that?
Yeah.
And then I heard Billy say, "I got to lie down. I'm not feeling well."
Oh my gosh.
This video or this evidence, it makes me sad.
Yeah.
Especially thinking about Billy, because he got drowned in the river, and then his mother was looking for him, and
But that's why he went back to the hotel.
Yeah.
Because that's where he worked.
Right.
But it was so strange because we did not.
I'm like.
That was an SB7, and there was no stations coming through.
I bet, yeah.
You could literally leave the thing on for an hour and hear nothing.
Nothing.
And I was getting really discouraged with it down there. And all of a sudden, Billy's voice came in, started responding to things we were asking. I was like, oh my gosh.
You can hear the voice of a child, like probably 5 years old.
It does sound, like a male child.
Yeah, that's the coolest thing, too, is that, it really sounds like a little kid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. All right, Chris, Audra, what have you guys experienced there? Laura and I have never been there, so you guys are
sick. So
She was sick.
food poisoning. I've experienced food poisoning there.
So-
Okay.
The weirdest experiences we had were, I had
yeah.
the shadow figure on the fourth floor. I caught out of the corner of my eye a couple times. I never got the full shadow figure.
Oh.
The man in the top hat, but I could definitely tell he was there.
Really? That's cool.
There was plenty of times where I could see something dark that looked like it was wearing a jacket moving in the darker corners of the fourth floor. And then the other experience that I had, the couple that I was walking around with on the second floor, that right by the social area. So everything's a square.
Okay.
If you look at the picture, it's just one big square.
Sure.
And we were down the room. So if you're standing in the social area looking north in the building, we were down the hallway to the left. And so myself and that couple were down the hallway to the right. And the last door before you come around the corner was cracked. And the room was black. And they're like, oh, somebody left their door open.
Oh, God.
You hear a woman reply, hello? And the girl that was, with the guy that we were walking around, she's like, excuse me, ma'am, your door's open? No response. So I'm like, something doesn't feel right. I'm like, ma'am, are you okay? Go away. Like, do you want us to close your door? Do you want us to leave it open? She never responded again. So we actually went down to the front desk and let them know that room, the door was unlocked. And the guy behind the counter said, the key's right there. Nobody's checked into that room.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Oh my God. Go away.
Fortunately, I had pictures, and I never got to review the audio from that clip because it ended up getting corrupted and I couldn't review it. But that was a really hardcore experience because the whole time we were in front of the door, I kept looking at them going, something doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel right. Something, and they're like, should we just go in? And I'm like, well, no, because if you walk into my room, you'll get shot.
Right.
I'm not gonna get shot. I don't want to become one of the ghosts here at the Copper Queen.
I gotta take this tea back to my wife. She's sick.
That was before the tea.
Gotcha.
So actually, after we got done talking to the front desk, she got creeped out and they went back to their room and I continued on. I just skipped that hallway.
I wonder if they sent anybody up to like check the door, shut the door.
He said he was going to send the maintenance guy up to check everything out.
Poor maintenance.
Into that room.
I know.
Yeah.
It's always maintenance or housekeeping.
Yeah. Working on plumbing 200 years later.
200 years later. Oh, no.
Chris is like, well, maybe, he goes, it's been really active. Sorry you missed it all. He goes, but maybe, we'll get some activity in the room tonight. And I'm thinking, okay. And then like a week later, he goes, I'm really bummed. We never got anything. I'm like, it's because I told him to stay away.
She wasn't feeling it, get out.
I'm like, whoever's around here, just stay out of my room.
Right? When I'm sick, I don't want...
We did have one other really cool piece of evidence that we got in a picture. I was taking pictures down in the hotel, and anybody that's ever been there, if you haven't been there, everything looks exactly like it did.
Yeah.
The wood's the same. I mean,
obviously the penny tile.
I mean, they replaced stuff here and there. Like the second floor has some crappy carpet that they flipped over.
Sure, that they had to, yeah.
Yeah, and you can tell they didn't do it well. They just kind of threw it down. But in the main desk area, if you stand over by the bar door and you look towards where the restaurant is, there's the old leather chair sitting there that probably has been sitting. I asked the guy at the front desk, he goes, oh no, and nothing's changed. We've moved stuff around a little bit. But he goes, but there's always been a chair sitting there. And I snapped a photo of the chair and I caught a set of legs, a gray see-through set of legs sitting in the chair. Mm-hmm. I didn't get the other piece.
Just the legs? Laura and I have such a thing about that. Like, why is it just the legs?
Right? Like, they got halfway through and they're like, you know what? This is good enough.
That's all I can do for now. Sorry.
But it was a great picture. I had it on a flash drive. Yeah. And when we moved to North Carolina, that flash drive got ruined and I lost a ton of evidence.
Oh, God. That sucks. I was going to say, send it to me. Let me see.
It was 1 terabyte, and I had it half full of evidence and lost it all.
Oh, that's terrible.
That is awful, yeah. I'm going to actually need to get one of those because between the episodes that I edit for YouTube and then that I edit for all of the podcast stations, I'm having to shove so much stuff up into the cloud, and that my cloud is starting to be like, we're getting dangerously full. So I'm going to need to get one of those. We got a lot of stuff with all the evidence and stuff like that, places we go. So anyway, any other crazy experiences at the Copper Queen you want to share, or should we let Chris and Audra tell us all about Bisbee City Park?
For us for Copper Queen.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. Anything else for you? Just butt tweaks and that's about it, huh? Wait, that was at the Oliver House, though. Yeah,
that was Oliver House.
Yeah. The Oliver Tweak House. Now we'll call it.
Yeah, we're gonna call it the Oliver Tweak House.
It was a twist. It was a.
It was a twist. Yes, for
Just
sure.
not the kind you thought.
Yeah. That's how things go on History of a Haunting. All right, guys. Chris and Audra, go ahead and take it away with Bisbee. Nope.
Bisbee. Okay, this is for the Bisbee City Park.
Take it away, because I didn't find anything. So they are completely sorry, guys. Tony and Cherie had to read scripts that were like 5 pages. They're freestyling.
And I'll add a little bit to the history that you can't find on the internet.
Yes.
So basically, the old city park, it's a sprawling, I love that word, 9,000 square foot park located at 62 Brewery Avenue in the mountainous city of Bisbee, Arizona. The park boasts an amphitheater, bleachers, a ramada, slides, basketball hoop, concrete court, and activity center. In the daylight, the park looks colorful and inviting, and there are often music or theatrical events hosted here, which I think we saw something going. There was like a big party there one time, which is pretty awesome. In the evening, City Park is fairly well lit, and being close to Old Bisbee, it is not a bad location to spend some time hanging out unless one is familiar with the history of the city park. And no, City Park used to be the Bisbee Cemetery.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun. When it was first established as the Bisbee Cemetery, it was on the outskirts of town. Gradually, as the mining boom town grew, the cemetery was no longer on the edge of town. We even got some
dogs booming stuff over
here. Originally located in what was known as Brewery Gulch, the original Bisbee Cemetery was replaced by Evergreen Cemetery in 1892, when citizens suggested that having an active cemetery uphill from the community water source might bring some health issues. So transfer of the old Bisbee interments to Evergreen began in 1914. Gosh,
wow. That was a long time ago, yeah.
Yeah. Graves that were marked were carefully exhumed and their complete contents relocated to Evergreen Cemetery. As was the case with many mining boom towns, burial records weren't consistently recorded, so there are an estimated dozen or so graves that may still be located beneath that city park.
Gross.
Now the off the record. So we wanted to go down. You know, we'd heard this history about it, and so we had a friend of ours that his uncle grew up in Bisbee.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Rich.
Yeah, Rich. And so I also talked to some locals, and I actually got some not publicized history on the cemetery.
You got the hot goss on the cemetery.
We got the hot gossip from some of the locals, and we actually talked to an older man that had been there his whole life, and his grandparents. He was like third generation Bisbee.
Wow.
And he was in his 80s. So yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And, so what the city didn't publicize and what they didn't tell is that because of the old pine wood boxes that they would use, and back then, depending on who you were, and if you couldn't afford a pine wood box, they would wrap you in a gunny sack.
Mm-hmm. Oh God, I know where you're going.
They were actually getting rotting corpses that were oozing into the dirt, and it was they actually discovered.
Cheers.
Yeah. So
dinner time, yay!
If you visit the town of Bisbee, Main Street sits like this. Brewery Gulch Street sits like this. The Copper Queen sits here, like one street up from Main.
Okay.
The cemetery is actually only 2 or 3 buildings behind the Copper Queen. So when they say outskirts of town, it was only when the town's Main Street was there, and the only thing north of Main Street was the Copper Queen Hotel.
Ew.
Right. And then the row of houses there. So it was just on the outskirts of town, but you could walk to it in a minute and a half.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. For a tiny little town.
Right. And so Main Street sits at a level like, try to get in front of the camera here. Main Street sits at a level like this. The Copper Queen sits at a level like this. The actual cemetery sits a little bit higher than the Copper Queen. So the water source is actually a natural water source that's an underground river, and it pops out every now and then in Bisbee. If you go up the hill a little bit, you can see where the water comes through. That's their actual water source, is actually an underground river.
Oh, okay.
And the problem is one of the main feeds underground, the cemetery was actually right above it. So imagine that oozing. That's when their concerns started becoming. And of course, we're talking
valid.
How many people have been,
right.
You know, there was good 150 bodies in that cemetery at the time, they said.
Oh.
So, and technically,
when the taste of the water changed, that's when they got.
Yeah, they tasted.
Right?
That's when they said,
that's legit, though. right?
doesn't taste quite
Pump
right.
me a cup of water and I got a finger. What the hell is this?
Tastes like chicken.
So where they say that they exhumed the complete contents of the ones that were marked, there were a lot of unmarked unmarked graves
Yeah.
from miners that had come in, Irish miners that had come in to work the mines, undocumented. Back then, they were Mexico, right?
Yeah.
So you had a lot of Mexican people that had come up to work the mines that they had no clue who these people were. But when they died, they had to put them somewhere, so they put them in that cemetery.
Yeah.
So there was actually more bodies than they actually had a physical count of and what they documented.
So probably way more than 150 or whatever.
Oh yeah.
So when they say that, the graves that were marked that were carefully exhumed, what about all the unmarked graves?
Right. That they didn't know about.
Right. So they said, multiple people told us, and it wasn't just one person said this and everybody's stories lined up.
Okay.
Some of the graves, they didn't find all the parts. So they would take what they could find, create another unmarked grave. And at the time, some of the hill had started shifting down. So at the time, some of the bodies were starting to expose themselves. They were surfacing. So long story short, there's probably more than just a handful that they didn't get out. And some of them are only in half pieces.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Those poor people.
And if you can bring up that picture again, I want to point something out.
Yeah.
So if you look at the Ramada over to the top of the picture, and then you've got the bleachers to the right side of the picture, and then you've got all that concrete in between and towards that amphitheater there.
Right.
There's also a big wall built down at the bottom at street level, and you got to walk upstairs to get up to the park.
Okay.
The reason there's so much concrete is because parts kept surfacing.
I was actually wondering that. I was like, I wonder if they
Yes.
did that on purpose.
Really?
Yeah, so they were going to only put the half-court basketball court. The rest of it is concreted in to hold down what parts have still begun to surface.
At some point, though, you have to think that this isn't going to hold forever.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we don't let our dog dig there.
Right.
We're like, no, that's a femur. That's a femur.
It
Loki,
is not a dog park.
Loki, put that down. You're not taking that in the car.
Can I give you a hand? Oh, you got one. Never mind.
So some
Oh
of the
my God.
haunting portion of it, some of the haunting portion of it is shadow figures are seen there quite often, and they state that the park is well lit. Well, the park's not that well lit. It's moonlight lit. They've got a few lights in there, but
Cool. A good old harvest moon.
yeah, there's plenty of shadows throughout the park. We've experienced multi-shadow figures. We got some EVPs in through there. We didn't hear it, but there was reports of screams at night sometimes coming from the park.
Yeah.
Wow.
But you also got to remember that this park is also surrounded by a town that is just completely haunted.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you can walk the town at night, and after everybody's shut down, if you walk it late at night, you can just feel the energy coming off this town. There's not just one.
It's
building.
not quiet when they roll the sidewalks up at 8 o'clock. Yeah.
It is, but not. It's human traffic is quiet.
It's quiet. Yeah.
So
They
we
used to
actually-
hang people in the streets and shit, right? Like, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
people have been hung really just like by the telegraph poles and stuff like that, like back in the 1800s and stuff. Like, there was vigilante justice. There was, all the rough and tumble shit that just happened in the streets. We're just talking about a couple locations, but it seems like, I mean, it was the miners dying in the mine, the
Shootouts
people
in the-
killing each other, the people getting hanged,
I'm telling you, I had no idea Bisbee had this kind of Tombstone-esque quality to it.
It really does.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It was during its active days. It was actually probably 10 to 20 times the size of Tombstone, even when Tombstone was most active.
Really?
I mean, they would literally bring
big.
trainloads of people in to work the mines.
Wow. Now, Tony, you're the expert on Aho. Was Aho the same way?
Aho was not anywhere near the size of Bisbee.
Okay.
Bisbee, I think at one point was about 30,000 people. Aho never reached
that
just
much.
under 15,000.
Okay.
So Bisbee was a lot bigger as far as the mining community. And Jerome, I think, also reached 15 or 20 some thousand.
Yeah.
But Bisbee was definitely the biggest of all of them.
The biggest of all of
I
them.
think they even said Bisbee was bigger than was it
San Francisco.
San Francisco back in the day. Who knew,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Well, if
I had no
figure
idea.
30,000 people back then.
Yeah.
That was a big town.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's huge.
Yeah.
It's interesting that Tombstone is more notorious, even though it was a smaller community. It's interesting that, but it doesn't sound. Did Bisbee have a theater? Like, Birdcage Theater, that was like the place to be, and it became one of those known all over the country locations where performers were telling their agents, "Hey, I need to be booked at this theater. This is where everybody's going." Did Bisbee have anything like that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Bisbee had a theater. Bisbee has quite a few things. What made Tombstone so popular was the gunfights that happened there and the Wild West names that Hollywood has, portrayed for years.
Decades, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what put Tombstone on the map. Not that probably similar things didn't happen in Bisbee, if probably not worse, but they didn't catch the attention.
They might have controlled it better. Yeah.
There's actually a picture in is it the Copper Queen or the administrative building?
Of
Bisbee.
I know. Of what?
Of the picture of the main street that is just packed with people.
I think it was a admin building.
Oh,
So
You
right
can-
across
you
from
can-
the Copper Queen is the old admin building for the Phelps Dodge Mining Corporation.
That's a museum now.
It's a museum now, and you can go through it and find out the history. And on one of the walls, there's a picture of when the first train car full of miners, or one of the train cars full of workers that were there just to work the mine. And it's a picture of Main Street of Bisbee, and there is no standing room whatsoever. The whole street is just covered with people and wagons, and it is there. You couldn't walk through it if you tried. It's like Disneyland on a 50-cent everybody gets in day.
yeah. If you go to the bisbee.gov, particularly actually the library site, they have a lot of pictures of the town through the ages, and it's pretty cool as you see like it just become more and more industrial and bigger, and then of course kind of die off.
Right.
As it started, just settlements, and they do have some pictures of the aftermath of some of the fires and stuff like that happened.
That's crazy.
But really, really cool.
I can't believe I've never been to this town.
It looks like San Francisco. I mean, if you look at some of those pictures,
It does.
looks like
It
San
really
Francisco
does.
did back in the day, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the scary thing is, to touch base on the fires a little bit that Laura's touched on a couple times too, is you figure this little town's called the town of most steps. It's built in between two mountains. So it's built in the canyon between two mountains. So most of your roads only go down Main Street by the Copper Queen Hotel, up a little gully, and you've got a couple roads that go up, but these houses go up the side of the mountain, and some of these houses, the only way you can get to it is by taking stairs.
And we're talking like 100, 200 stairs. It's just right up the mountainside.
Now I see why I've never been.
They have that, what they call like the Festival of 1,000 Steps or something. It's like
1,000 steps.
it's like a 5K mixed with a bunch of stair climbing, hell on earth kind of situation.
Right.
But
now imagine
I know it's
now imagine you're
popular.
in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and the only way to put out a fire is a wagon that guys have to pump the water out of, and your house is burning
at the top of the stairs,
of the mountain, and the hose doesn't reach it.
Great.
So I mean,
there you go.
Burned away because they can't put out the fire.
Right. Yeah. No. So what? There was a paranormal story that I had heard about this park. It was a father had taken his daughter to the park, and it was kind of around dusk. The sun was setting. A little girl goes off. She's at the playground, and she's playing or talking and interacting with what he assumes is children he can't see because they're hidden behind like a slide or whatever. As he goes over there to talk to his little girl, tell her it's time to come home, and make sure that these children he didn't see parents around or anything. She came running over in tears, mad at him because she said that he scared off her new friends and they walked into the wall.
Huh.
So what are some of your stories of paranormal activity that you guys have had there, if any?
Really just the shadows.
The shadows, lots of shadows. I mean, you're constantly turning back and forth, looking. Something's always moving out of the corner of your eye. The amphitheater, there's a couple shadows that move back and forth across the stage, the concrete stage.
Yeah, okay.
And then every once in a while, you just get this eerie feeling and see shadows. If you have, I don't know if I can share my screen without
Yeah, don't touch anything.
going into
again.
carry mode.
I won't. It was me. I won't touch anything. Go. I'll just.
Let me see if I can bring up this picture because this is.
Yeah, the bleachers too are active.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to show.
Are they?
Can you guys see that?
We can. We can.
You can?
No, we
I can. But it's over off to the. If I share it, then it's all gonna go downhill from
then
there.
it's all gonna go wacky. Hopefully the viewers can see it, but this is the bleachers that are on the west side of the park. Yeah, west side of the park.
Okay.
And this is actually paintings of. They took a picture of the miners, and then one of the local artists actually painted some of these are actual miners
Okay.
from the mine. I can't remember what year it was.
Painted
from, but they
onto
painted
the steps, looking
onto
like.
the bleacher. Yeah.
That's creepy. Send me that and we can include it in our social media promotion.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be cool. And then they can see it that way.
See if we can share this one. This is the park at night.
Yeah. Well lit park that it is.
That is the brightest you're going to get, that park.
Really?
And that's with the flash from a camera.
Yeah, I don't love that at all.
So,
Is that a mist up in the upper right corner?
a what?
A mist?
Not sure.
No, you know what? I think that night was really
Oh, it's foggy.
Was it foggy? Okay.
And so we tried to take pictures over by the playground. We heard the story of the children.
little girl.
And I'll quit sharing it. But I'll send you those pictures so you can include it in the podcast. But
Cool.
we
Okay.
tried to take pictures of the kids playing, and we heard some voices. But the hard part is when you're doing an investigation here, is you're surrounded by the city.
Right. Yeah.
Brewery Gulch Street is right down there at the bottom, and there's 4 or 5 bars right there, and
Yeah.
it's one of the rougher sides of Bisbee. So yeah,
Nah.
yeah.
It's definitely hard to do any sort of investigation at a cemetery, a park, anything like that. Just, the elements, wind, even if it's in a quiet area.
Well, at the top of those stairs where you said you thought might see the mist is homes.
Oh, okay.
People literally live right above the park. I mean, so somebody could have a TV going.
Anything, yeah.
Yeah, personal experience though, we didn't hear the screams. We heard voices. We saw shadow figures. Tried to record as much as we could. I think we caught a few EVPs that I no longer have anymore, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
But rumor is that children play in the park at night.
Yep.
We couldn't capture it, but
I wonder what the
Time,
children ghosts would have been from, though. If it was predominantly minors that maybe had no family, nothing to be claimed, that were still left there, then I wonder what's causing why there's child ghosts there.
there's also a metaphysical theory when it comes to spirits that when you pass on, your spirit reflects the time that you were the happiest. So maybe it was a minor that was happier when he was a kid.
Maybe.
Back as a child, who knows?
That's interesting. That's really interesting.
Plus, any kind of boomtown, you're going to have families, you're going to have children, and with the high mortality rate back then,
Yeah. No
there was
vaccines, none of
100%
that.
children buried there, or were buried there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and if you only took half the kid down the street and left the other half in the park,
He can't leave. He doesn't know where his body's at.
that's
Right.
right.
And why would he leave the park to go to a cemetery?
He's searching for his better half.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Aw.
Sorry.
Either that or his legs were moved down the road and he can't get to where he needs to get to anyway.
Now
Oh,
we
my
know why
God.
we just see the fucking legs.
This is why.
There you go.
We cracked it. We figured it out.
Makes sense now.
God damn it.
Stick his head and shoulders down the road.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here on History of Haunting first. So, Tony and Cherie, have you guys ever been to this park? Had anything happen? Yeah?
Yeah, we spent probably till after midnight or 1
Yeah.
doing exactly what it sounds like they did. We did EVPs. We took full spectrum photographs throughout the night of the park at different angles.
I
thought
think
we captured something on the
kid.
stage, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
We had
wow.
a very light colored apparition. You could see human body, but it wasn't so prevalent that you had to look closely.
Yeah.
But it was there, and it looked like a young girl playing on the stage.
Right. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Oh.
That's really cool. I swear I had no idea. All these listeners, in fact, some of my family, my friends were like, you've got to cover Bisbee. I'm like, okay. I had no idea that you basically... Yeah.
What do you call that mountain rock? Remember we went to, eat at that hotel and it was raining? That's also haunted.
Oh, there's so many haunted places in Bisbee. I mean, you've got old jails that have been turned into like small hotels.
Yeah, bed and breakfast.
You're talking about point something or rock something on the rock.
Yeah, facing the rock. The hotel
House of the Rock or something like
that. Oh, okay.
Not House of the Rock. Something of the Rock.
Not Chris Rock.
Not Chris Rock.
It's
Then you've got the
big
Bisbee
red
Hotel,
one that
which
looks like
is
an old house,
known
right?
to be haunted.
Yeah.
Everything there has some sort of history. The bar we were in, we were sitting there, we were eating, and the bartender was asking us what we were doing. We're like, well, we're paranormal investigators. He goes, this place is haunted. Then he took us to the back and he opened up this vault.
Oh,
you wouldn't
God.
expect this to be in a bar. It was this huge steel vault put into the rock, and he literally opened it up, and that's where they kept some money or whatever they were mining, or I don't know.
Oh my God! So like was it Osei offices? Assay. Thank you.
And actually, a lot of
you just don't expect that, and it was so cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Every building's got a history to it, and involved one way or another with the whole. It's a cool place.
No idea.
There was we were looking at the olive oil. There's one of the olive oil
on Brewery Street.
On Brewery Street, and this guy, a little weird, but anyhow, he was kind of telling us the history of that building too, and he's like, "Well, I'll show you." And literally, same thing. Trap door opens
the floor,
up,
took us down to the basement.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're very friendly about just go.
Check it out. Look at this.
Yeah.
Here's the best part about Bisbee is when you go up Main Street, they have shops in all the old buildings.
Yeah.
And there's
they do.
One of the antique shops. You can go down into the basement.
Oh yeah.
And the basement goes through to the next building, and there's these little tunnels that they've cut through to get to the next one over, and then the next one over is like Tony's saying, it has a big safe in the wall that they're actually using. It has shelves in it, and they've got articles for sale sitting in the sale.
Oh my God! I cannot believe it.
Yeah, those little shops are super fun. Or were last time I was there too. They had
they're fantastic.
Fun vintagey stuff, and
they're a little.
I got a bunch of stuff from my wedding there.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah,
super cool.
Yes, Cherie, most of them.
Most of them are. That's like Sedona. Like a lot of stuff in Sedona is really pricey. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can tell you, if anybody's sensitive and you want to go down to Bisbee, being a sensitive going into Bisbee is like an alcoholic passing out in a moonshine still.
Great.
Yeah. It is just, you're constantly buzzing. You're constantly turning your head, looking over your shoulder. It always feels like
so much.
You.
Yeah.
It always feels like something's watching you. It always feels like there's something around the next corner. Bisbee is just a fantastic little town. And that place, Tony, is called the Inn at Castle Rock.
That's it. The Inn at Castle Rock.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yes.
The Castle
That
Rock.
looks
Yes,
cool.
Castle
That
Rock.
one's cool. You go
we
into the
went
bar
there
in that
just
one.
to see if we could catch anything.
Yes.
Then we ended up
Yeah.
eating the barbecue they were cooking outside.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was pretty good.
Hey, Laura, sounds like it's right up your alley.
Right? It is. Sounds perfect.
It's awesome. If you go into the bar at the inn at Castle Rock, right by the check-in area,
Yep.
there's a well that's been there since the early 1800s, and you can look down to the town water
Yeah.
source right there in there.
Yep.
With the
Yeah.
body parts, or
No, this is up the hill,
oh, okay,
prior to the fingers and toes.
I gotcha. Okay, good.
Knees and toes.
It's head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Oh, that's so gross. That is so gross. All right, wow, guys, I had no idea. This has been quite the learning experience for me. And like I said, I'm born and raised. I'm a rare native Arizonan, and I had no idea. I've never been to Bisbee. I had no idea.
You, Carrie.
Shame on me, 1,000%. That's damn right. Oh my God, my family and I, my mom and Coy, were talking about or in tentative plans of coming back to Phoenix in October for several days. So I think we might, Laura, have to go down to Bisbee because goddamn, this place sounds like it's where it's at.
It's a cool place.
It is.
It's
Yeah.
not. It's like what, 3 hours? So it's
Yeah.
quick.
It's quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I just drove 3.5 hours to St. Albans last week. I can do it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
and the drive down there is really cool too.
It is. It's beautiful.
You have to drive. You have to go through the Tombstone route to get to Bisbee. Don't go through the Sierra Vista is too commercialized at this point. Go
Okay.
through Tombstone on the way to Bisbee. It's awesome.
Okay.
We can stop at Kirchner's Caverns too, which is real cool if you haven't been there.
I haven't been there,
Oh
but
my
Coy
gosh, yes.
has. And he says that's really cool. He went on a field trip and he really, really loved it. Yeah.
It's super cool.
I'm telling you, I'm a really shitty native Arizonan.
No kidding.
Had no idea. Really, really, really fucking up. Well, it sounds like that is all that we have for the many hauntings in Bisbee, Arizona, guys. But as you know that we like to do here at History of a Haunting, generally we do cover a lot of like heavy topics. We talk about a lot of asylums, a lot of prisons, a lot of death, a lot of horrible things. This has kind of been a little bit light, nothing, too heavy and crazy. But at the end of our episodes, we do like to talk a little bit about and let's see if my buttons are working on my little stream deck here because they haven't been all night. We do like to tell a little bit of, there it is, strange history. So essentially what strange history is my dear friend Jennifer and our director of marketing sent me this book for Christmas. And it's a really wonderful book. It's just filled with a bunch of crazy, insane facts about history. And I chose this one because Chris is a former cop. And this is the random origin of the police car. So it reads, the first occasion in which a car was used in police work occurred in 1899 when Sergeant McLeod of England's Northamptonshire County Police borrowed a Benz vehicle to pursue a man who was selling forged tickets for the Barnum and Bailey Circus. The top speed of the car, 12 miles per hour. The first car regularly employed in police work was a Stanley steamer, hello, F.O. Stanley, acquired by the Boston Police Department in 1903. It replaced 4 horses.
Wow.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I chose that one. I was flipping through and I was waiting for everyone to call in, and I'm like, I don't have a strange history story. So I was flipping through and I found that, and I was like, well, we're going to do this one for Chris because he is a former police officer. So
That's awesome. Thank you.
now you know the origin of the police cars. So Laura, as always, if the thing will let everybody know where they can follow us.
Okay, you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at HOAH Podcast. And on the TikTok at HOAH Podcast, at HOAH Carrie, and at HOAH co-host Laura.
Yay! And you guys, thank you so much for being on here. I know I threw Cherie for a loop by having it scripted, and I'm really sorry. You did so well, honey. You did the best.
Wonderful.
Good. Really great job. Chris, Audra,
And
thank
you
you
guys
so
want
much.
to tell everybody where they can catch your show too?
Yeah, absolutely. Where can they find you? I mean, we know, but where can they?
They can find us on the Unix Network on Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern and 6 p.m. Pacific time on Entity
Nice.
Voices Paranormal Evidence.
Yes, and it is a fabulous show, guys. You can watch it on Facebook. You can watch it on YouTube. Everybody that watches it, and they've got a chat. We all interact. It's a really, really great show. They have wonderful guests, wonderful evidence captures that really kind of blow your mind. And so I just love it. Whenever Laura and I get our shit together, and we actually record on Sundays like today, I watch it because I'm free on Monday. If we don't have our shit together, we record on Monday because we have to have it out to the Patreons by Wednesday, and I need time to edit it. So it's just, one of those things, but I always do watch it afterwards. So check it out, guys. It's really, really wonderful. Hosted by my lovely, dear, dear friends and my mentors, the folks that train me in paranormal investigating, Tony and Cherie Rathman, Chris Allgood, and Audra Keeler. Everybody, please give them a round of applause for being on our show today.
Thank you for coming.
I love the cheer.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We love you guys so much. Thank you very, very much. Guys, catch them every Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Again, you can watch them on Facebook. You can watch them on YouTube and also on is it the Unix Network? Is that Unix Network?
Like
Okay.
Unexplained.
Unexplained. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, that is it. As we like to say here at History of a Haunting, guys, stay safe out there because you never know who
Or what?
is listening. Bye, everybody. Guys, thank you so much.
All right.
See you next week.